knife. Well, I'm your Huckleberry. It doesn't exist.
That's not even a real thing.
It doesn't exist. But that's what this video is about. It's about budget Grail knives. And we're going to jump right into this one. No sense in wasting time talking about it. We have Artisan Cutlery, who is the sort of higher end parent brand to CJRB. And we're going to do, they've got some Grail features. And yeah, I know. Look, calm down. It's okay. We're going to make it through this. But let me tell you something. It is actually pretty daggum impressive. So go ahead and get yours. And I'll get mine.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, like, this is not something I would normally. This isn't.
Knife snob.
They're almost the same.
Knife snob. They're very similar.
Why are they similar?
Well, what do you mean?
That they're almost identical. Like,
well, we should talk about the differences.
I didn't know anything about this. He's like, hey, I ordered some knives.
Yeah,
we're gonna
so
talk about them.
$60 and $38, right? So not
really?
quite
This
twice
is only
the price.
$38.
It's only $38. And this is Jade 10, baby.
Jade 10.
Hashtag Jade 10. So you get some neat things with these knives, and these are both Persian style knives.
Yeah.
The Artisan brand is higher end, and I think when you dive into what some of the differences are, you're going to notice the grind lines, some of the ergo differences. The basic function on both are really good.
Yeah.
But let's go with the first Artisan, and it is ceramic ball bearing, CNC machined, model 1845P, and it has their unique blade steel AR RPM 9, which nobody knows what it is. Basically, it's a powder metallurgy knife that is stainless. So, don't know what it is, but you better believe.
What was that blade steel?
AR RPM M9.
That's what this is.
Okay, so you get powdered metallurgy steel for $38. And for those who don't know what powdered metallurgy steel is, very simply, powdered metallurgy steel, rather than it being just a chunk of steel that's formed into a knife, it's powdered steel, and so the grain structure is much finer, so it takes a better edge, a longer lasting edge, so long as you get the heat treat right. And it is easier to polish and shine and less likely to chip. So it has all the advantages that it should have. So let's start with this one. Now, when you look at the handle on this, I dig that, right? That is, I don't know what it's reminiscent of, almost a 1911.
So this is the more expensive one.
This is the more expensive one. And you'll notice that it actually has, I don't know if the camera...
And you said same company?
Artisan makes CJRB.
Okay.
That's the budget line. This is the more expensive one.
Okay.
So you can see that it actually has the liners, but they are hollowed liners. So you can actually see the little circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through the Jade 10, the Jade G10. High polish to it. Unique machining to the jimping. It has really great grind lines.
It's a pretty knife.
It is a pretty knife, and it's really wide, so it's pretty substantial. Standoffs, and a really unique way of doing your lanyard right here at an angle. It's just neat.
Yeah.
It also has nice 3D milling. So the middle is hollowed out kind of like a Kiku or a higher end knife, which is common for those that have like micarta. The hollow in the middle, and then it actually has little kind of striations here on the side to give it texture. So yeah, it is a nice, pretty much full hand knife, sharpening choil. Are you kidding? A nice finger stop flipper tab, and yeah, it is. It's a cool knife. I'll let you take it.
Interesting. I think I like the blade shape of this one better.
Yeah. I like the width.
Something you didn't mention that is, I see what you're talking about the lanyard.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
I
like unique different.
And you can flip the pocket clip.
True story. Yeah. It is reversible.
And it's how much?
$60.
$60 for this knife. So
and it is ball bearing.
So it's almost like It's got a lot of Grail knife type
Oh, I'm
features.
sorry. Forgive me. Ceramic ball. That's a significant. That's why it's so smooth. You feel that?
Yeah.
It's like perfect.
That's very interesting because it's got a lot of Grail knife type features.
It does.
I would say. But it's a knife that's not crazy expensive, so you can actually use it and abuse it. And
Yeah,
if you
we
lost
can,
it,
because we can run down the list. Powdered metallurgy steel, even though it's technically unknown, it's better than
Right.
HCR, right? Standoffs, open pillar construction, right? The liners are drilled so that it's lighter. It has Jade G10 and it looks good. It has milling in the handle, which looks good, and it has grind lines, which are higher quality grind lines. They're not an Emerson grind,
Right.
but it does have good grind lines that are visible, so I like the grind finish. The machining, I mean, it's got a lot. Ceramic
The
ball
machining
bearings.
is
Are you
nice.
kidding me? Ceramic ball bearing knife. And you
For
can
60
go
bucks.
for $60. So you can take this Grailish feeling knife and go full send with it, break it, and just go buy another one.
Right. It's a knife that you can literally use, abuse,
Lose it.
lose.
Doesn't matter. You're just gonna get another one.
Right. And it's got features like some Grail knives. Even some Grail knives don't have these features.
That's a good point.
Some
Some of them are kind of rough.
And if $60 is like, man, I still don't want to spend $60 for a knife to use and abuse, you get this one,
Yes.
the CJRB, which is like the
It's the
budget version
model.
of that. So, like you said, Artisan makes CJRB, and CJRB is the budget line.
Yep.
And this has a lot of the same features, but you know, obviously some noticeable visual differences.
Yes.
This, you know, obviously is a thinner blade.
Yep.
Doesn't have as much of a belly. The grip is a little bit more thin.
Mhm.
This one to me feels more Persian than this one.
I agree. This is more Bowie with that Persian flair.
But same blade steel. This one does not. It doesn't have as good of grind lines.
No,
Um,
it doesn't. It's very basic.
it is, and it's got
It has
a
that cheesy regular stonewash finish to the blade,
Right.
like you expect on
Yeah.
a budget knife, which is not a big deal, but it's just standard.
It does have the cutouts though.
It does to
yeah.
the hollow out of the liners.
It does,
Yeah.
and the reversible pocket clip, it has that as well. It's got these orange, like an orange backspacer.
I'm
instead
sorry,
of
that's
standoffs.
awesome.
What's that?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
getting pivot collar and orange backspacer for $38.
Although, I mean, you can tell the difference in the presentation of these blades. Though.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you've got the cool bag.
yeah, you
You
got
got the nice printed box, which is a, you know, a two-piece
Right.
box versus just an open end.
you get
and
a card that explains it and care maintenance. You don't get any of that with the CJRB. You literally just get a box and a plastic bag. So I don't even know what the movement is on this, but it feels very similar, honestly. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was the same.
It's ceramic.
This one is as well.
Yeah, actually, we'll throw in a spec sheet, and it's a blow up of the two knives. And what's nice about the brand, which I wasn't familiar with them at all until I was like, hey, we need to go do some budget content, and let's see what's cool out there. Can we actually? Because we're kind of, you know, we bring that Grail
Right.
action to the channel, right? Can we go find Grailish for reasonably priced? Can we ever? Jade G10 is hot.
Honestly,
Powder metallurgy steel is hot.
and these are such unique blade shapes and knives. Like these are head turners. Like this would, like that one. I think. I mean, this one too.
It's got cool factor. Look at the
Right. People. This is a conversation starter. People.
seeing this on Instagram is amazing. Like you're gonna be able to actually get, you know, some really cool shots.
Yeah,
with
this one, I will say, this one has a very minor texture. It's actually much smoother than that one.
Yeah.
But this one does have a longer handle. So if you got large hands, this one might be more your speed.
And look
And
how
it's cheaper.
look how smart they are. They say Instagram CJRB_cutlery. I dig that. As many companies we deal with that sort
Let me
of
see that
struggle
one.
with the Instagram side,
knife.
they got it. Yeah, go ahead.
This one actually has a thicker blade stock,
It does.
which is interesting.
It's
But it doesn't have as much of a belly.
yeah, and it has less width, and so that less width means that you potentially don't have as much slicey dicey. A
Mhm.
wider blade can get sharp,
Right. Yeah.
Because it gets a narrow grind.
This one
to
would
it.
be more EDCable.
That's slicey dicey. This right here is kind of chunky and thicker. And
Right.
we'll
This
show
kind
you.
of, you know, this is still a EDCable blade for most people. But guys, for the price point, come on. You kidding me?
$38. I know.
This one's lanyard is just like it goes into the little back spacer there.
Yeah. A little bit more simple.
It does have a sharpening choil.
Which every manufacturer, if you don't put a sharpening choil in there, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but on the simplest, and quite frankly, this sharpening choil isn't quite as functional, and that goes to the design element.
Right.
The sharpening choil actually does not go as far as the G10. So here's what happens: you go to sharpen, you get the wrong angle, or you slip, especially if you use a belt sharpener like I do. You're gonna nick your handle scale because the beginning of the edge is right there where the end is for the scale, and that bugs me. Like let me see. I didn't think about that with this one, maybe because it was already good. Yeah. So with this one, the sharpening choil and the edge start well past, and if you're careful, you can miss the scale, and that's good, and that's what I like when I come to sharpen a knife, especially if it's a buddy's knife. I hate to get into that, so I actually have to kind of come in at an angle and be really meticulous. It's just annoying as a sharpener.
Yeah. I think,
but this is well thought out. They thought about every proportion. Blade centering is perfect. Standoffs are there. Standoffs are cool. You could take this thing apart and you could flame that if you wanted to, the steel, and get it bronzy looking, and you could change the color, and yeah, there's some customization options here too.
to be honest, I think where the price difference is obviously in the finish, because this has more in the scales, more on the blade,
Mirror polishing.
more mirror polishing. This one feels more like an upscale knife.
It does. It just
same
you
movement.
can tell, but you can tell when
Yeah.
you put something in the hand, you can tell that it's nicer.
Yeah.
And that it's more substantial.
This one has a very similar action. It feels very similar, beyond the fact that it's got a little bit of a thinner handle, but
Narrower. Like this is thin, that's chunky and thick, but it's not as
right. It's a trade-off.
It's narrow, and so it has to be chunkier. Whereas this one, you can get that thin, gentleman, slide into the dress pants feel, kind of like my Medford.
It's
My
interesting
Slim Midi.
for a knife that's so budget that it's so quality.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have your knife snobs out there that's like, I would never buy that. It's made in China.
Designed by Dirk Pinkerton, this one is. It's a
Interesting.
design knife. I always want a design knife.
Which explains the
Part
price.
of the
point.
price. So you are
But even
supporting an
still-
American designer. though.
Even still, it might be part of the price, but the price is so low.
$60. Like I'm willing. I want a design. That's why you get the elements. He designed all these aspects. He got it. He knows what we want. And good job to Dirk, and good job to Artisan on the partnership, because you nailed it.
Right. And then, like, again, if you don't want to pay $60, you still want a cool knife that is a conversation starter and is razor sharp and has some really high-end qualities. Get this
Super
CJRB.
duper budget. Super duper budget. And really, you know what? I'm just going to say it. You really shouldn't be spending much less than $40 on a knife if you want to get a knife that's going to be good.
Right.
This has an edge out of the box. It's going to last a good amount of time. It has a cool factor to it as well.
I have to say, I would much rather carry this knife than some of the, budget, Gerbers and things that you pick up at like an Academy Sports or Bass
It's a good
Pro or
point.
something.
You can get into some of those sort of really cheap 420J2 butter knives, and they're hanging in a plastic package, and you can wait a couple of days and get this ordered from wherever. Smoky Mountain Knife Works probably carries it. Wherever you go, and you are getting in a couple of days a really, really good knife that beats a wall hanger.
Where did these come
for
from?
the price of it? China.
China?
Yep.
You order them direct from China?
Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. Where did I get these? I don't even remember where I got them.
Okay.
So yeah,
I would assume.
because they were so budget, I was just
I would
like,
assume knowing you, it would probably was Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
yeah, I can't remember if they had it in stock when I was looking for
Right.
them or not, but I don't recall. But Smoky Mountain Knife Works does carry Artisan. They were the ones that actually broke Artisan out
Right.
to the world. So
That's
I've been
interesting.
sitting on them for a minute. Sorry, I didn't.
On
I don't
these-
remember where I got them.
No, you're good. I'm pretty sure it was Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Looking at this lock, I mean, they even went in and milled like it's a budget knife, right? Like this is the cheaper one, and they went in and milled that to be a little bit more comfortable on the hand.
They did.
A hot spot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a nice little
when
touch.
you close the liner lock.
And yeah, it's the liner lock there, the little divot.
I like them.
Wow. Yeah. So guys,
there you go. That's a budget review for you. A little comparison to get you into one of the coolest set of budget knives that I've laid my eyes on.
Yeah, and again, you got two versions here. They're almost the same but different. Same company essentially.
I love designer knives, man. I so dig that.
That's a cool knife.
It is. That is a cool
Guys,
knife.
as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you click that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, comment down below. Let us know what you think about these knives.
Yeah.
Is this something you would, consider picking up?
Is it a budget grill knife? Is such a thing? Does such a thing exist?
Right.
Yeah. Share with us your opinion on that. See what you think. What's your experience been?
They are so smooth. They're very fidgety.
Very fidgety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys,
Thanks.
as always, stay sharp.
Yeah, stay sharp.
See you on the next one.
See you.